You are trouble.
Trouble is my middle name.
Oh, you're hot.
Why, thank you, so are you. And I'm not afraid to cry.
No, I mean you feel a little feverish.
Well, I've never felt better in my life. My God, you smell good. Listen, when do you get off work?
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. And before we get into this shit, I just want to thank all of you guys who came and rocked out with me on Sunday during my live stream. Just like my first live stream, I did not intend for it to go for 9 hours, but 9 hours is what we went for, and I had a lot of fun during that entire 9 hours. So I want to thank you guys, and to those of you who rocked out with me that entire 9 hours, I want to thank you guys as well for all your support. And I want to apologize to all the Steves and Lindas out there, especially the Lindas. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch that live stream, scrub to about the 5 hour and 37-minute mark, and just watch from there. It's about 20 minutes of just, to me, it was the highlight of the stream. It was the most fun I had during the stream. It's just me and the people in chat ragging on an imaginary Steve and Linda, and it has nothing to do with gaming. So if you enjoy my type of humor and my vulgarity, to be honest, go check that out. You'll have a blast listening to that. Also, want to remind you guys, I'm going to be doing another live stream this Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, and on Thursday, I'm going to be doing the Saltiest podcast at 4 p.m. Pacific, and that's at Saltiest Gaming's channel. So if you want to hear what I have to say about whatever the fuck you want us to talk about, that's going to be the Saltiest podcast on Saltiest Gaming's channel at 4 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, and then my live stream on Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. And now with all of that shit out of the way, let's get into this motherfucking video. This one is it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's ironic, really, this video, because for those of you who haven't heard, which I'm sure at this point it is almost impossible to have not heard, reportedly now, and this isn't rumors, this is reportedly from people with hands-on, time with the Xbox Series X, reportedly it runs a little bit fucking hot. I mean, they're saying it's whisper quiet, can't hear the fans. They've all commended it on being super quiet, but they've also said that it appears to run pretty fucking hot, or that it gets warm to the touch. Some people have even called it toasty, called it the fireplace, called it a warmer, saying that it is just, it seems to get pretty warm. We even have a video of someone who is in a live stream with 3 other individuals talking about the Series X, explaining shit about it, and he pulls the 1TB SSD out of the Xbox Series X and nearly burns his fingers because the SSD is so warm, so hot. And he even explains that this is him pulling the SSD out of the Xbox Series X while it was just sitting in standby mode. He wasn't even gaming on it heavily. It was just sitting in standby mode, and he pulled the SSD out, and even in standby mode, it seems to run a little bit hot. And here is that video if you don't believe me.
Hey, you
want to see something super small? Look at this freaking thing.
Jeff just unzipped his
like
pants.
the
Oh, that's the hard drive.
Oh, it's on fire! It's super hot. Why is it so
Jeff
hot?
didn't even hear it.
No, he doesn't care. What's up?
Wait, what did you say?
And I said, look at that.
Nothing.
Look at that little hard drive.
So it looks just like a PS2 memory stick.
Yeah, it's still so it's a terabyte of storage, which is pretty wild. But here's the thing.
So that doesn't come with it though. That's like a separate accessory,
no,
right?
this is
That's
like
the $200 thing.
$220.
Yeah.
So here's what's crazy, right? This thing.
Yeah.
So this was just plugged in standby mode behind me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You guys,
Yeah.
the entire thing is a little toasty.
Now, again, this is pre-release hardware, to be fair. But
totally. And I'm sure they're not stoked for me to even get into that much kind of detail.
So according to this guy, like I said, the Xbox Series X was just sitting in standby mode, and the entire Xbox is quote-unquote toasty still, even though it was just plugged in the standby, and he nearly burned his hand on that 1TB SSD. And to reiterate what they said, and to be fair, this is pre-release hardware, so we don't know if there's going to be any changes made between the unit that he's holding and the retail unit to where it may not get that warm. But the fact of the matter is that it still appears to be getting pretty fucking warm. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing, because for all we know, it can run warm like this and not negatively impact the way the console is able to play games. As long as it doesn't affect how the console can play games, as long as it doesn't create anything like a red ring of death situation, then who gives a fuck how warm the console gets? The things that I think about, though, and the issues that arise to me is that if it gets this warm just sitting in standby, well, how warm is it going to get when you're actually playing games? Also, keep in mind that these people who are reporting it being hot while playing games, they're playing current-gen games, and they're playing last-generation backwards compatible games. They haven't played any next-generation games on the Series X yet. They haven't played anything that's going to push the hardware yet. So, one of two things is going to happen when they start pushing that hardware. A, it's either going to get much, much hotter, or B, that fan is going to kick on much faster, and that whisper quiet fan may get a little bit louder. Those are the two things I could see possibly happening once they are playing next generation games on the Series X. And I don't want to be putting on a tinfoil hat here, but maybe that is the reason why we haven't seen next generation games running on the Series X yet. I'm not saying that's the reason why, I'm just saying maybe that is the reason. Who knows? And like I said, it is a little bit tinfoil hat status, but it's just something that I think about in the back of my head. And something we've all been thinking about, like, why aren't they showing us next generation games running on the Series X? We've all been thinking that for fucking what? Weeks now, right? Close to a couple months now. And now to see how hot this unit is getting, running current generation and backwards compatible games, makes me think that maybe that's the reason. Maybe because the units that they're sending out, the pre-release units, aren't ready for that. Maybe that's why a lot of their games are getting patches to get ray tracing after launch. I don't know. That's pure speculation. Like I said, tinfoil hat status a little bit, but it is something I'm thinking about in the back of my mind. And like I said before, it's a little bit fucking ironic because for months we've heard the rumors, and again, I say rumors because this has never been verified, never been confirmed, but rumors that the PlayStation 5s were overheating and the PlayStation 5s were gonna fucking catch fire and explode and burn your house down. We heard that shit for months. And yet, when Japanese YouTubers had a chance to go hands-on with the PS5, after gaming for about 80 minutes non-stop, not only were the fans whisper quiet, just like on the Series X, but the PlayStation 5 was also still cool to the touch, and even the air coming out of the unit was just lukewarm, wasn't even hot. And on the PS5, they were able to play next-generation games like Godfall. So, just something to think about. That's why I think it's ironic. We have the PS5 now that people are playing that not only is running cool, but it's playing next-generation games, but this is the one that supposedly had all the overheating issues, rumored, and now you have the Series X in the hands of people who are saying that the shit's running pretty fucking hot, just running current-gen and last-generation games. But again, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean this is a bad thing for the Series X. It doesn't mean there's anything to worry about. It's not that big of a deal. I just think it's funny. But as long as it doesn't impact games, as long as it doesn't affect anything, it can run hot. As long as it doesn't get too fucking hot, you know? Who gives a shit if it's warm to the touch, as long as it's running your games and not melting solder balls on the board, right? So, like I said, the real test is going to be once we get actual retail units, not pre-release hardware, actual retail units in the hands of people, and they're able to play next generation games that are going to be pushing the hardware a little bit more. At that point, we'll be able to see really what the Series X is all about and what its ability to dissipate heat is going to be like. I will say, for me, and keep in mind, I am not an engineer. I don't know shit about thermodynamics. But for me, when I was looking at the design of the Series X, I did wonder how it was going to efficiently cool everything. I mean, yes, heat rises and the fan is at the very, very top of the unit, but everything is just fucking crammed in so tight, and it doesn't appear to be a lot of space for the air to be able to flow through the Xbox Series X. Also, they decided to go with one large fan versus a smaller fan, and a large fan that's going to spin slower. And they're saying that that large fan spinning slower is going to be able to move more air than if they had a smaller fan spinning faster. And they made that choice because they wanted to reduce the noise of the fan. And me, again, just as a regular person, I honestly, when I first saw that, was like, I don't know if that's really gonna work that well. Cause, I live in Arizona. It gets fucking hot in Arizona. And, I have a ceiling fan in my room. It's a ceiling fan. And I have it on high. And it's blowing air. And it's just, okay, it's keeping the room kind of cool. But I also have a little fan that's on my nightstand where its fan is much smaller. But that shit is spinning a lot faster. And yes, the fan on my desktop makes a lot more noise than my ceiling fan does. But guess which one I can feel more? I can feel the wind coming out of that tiny fan that's spinning faster more than I can the wind coming from the ceiling fan, which even on high is still spinning a lot slower. So again, that's just my common dude who doesn't know shit about anything. My mentality looking at this thinking, okay, yes, the fan is bigger, it's spinning slower, but is it going to be able to dissipate the heat effectively compared to a smaller fan that's spinning faster? And is that a good trade-off? Is the trade-off in sound, better than the trade-off in performance and its ability to adequately dissipate heat? But again, these are pre-release units. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the design. I'm just saying, me as a regular guy looking at it, I was thinking I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work. And again, like I said, to be fair, I'm not a fucking engineer, and I don't know shit about thermodynamics. And there's people who went to fucking college for this shit that designed the Series X, so they probably know. And I'm not even going to say probably know. They absolutely 100% know a lot better than I do and a lot more than I do. I just still looking at it thought to myself, that doesn't seem to make all that much sense. Having the fan at the top seems to make sense, but having it be bigger and slower to me did not make sense. Also, everything being so crammed in on top of each other didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, where there isn't, a place for air to freely flow through the hardware. So people that want to talk about the size of the PS5, yes, the PS5 is huge, but maybe that's because the PS5 is allowing more room inside of the hardware for air to flow. I don't know. Again, speculation. We really won't know until we get a breakdown of that piece of hardware. But from what we're hearing, Series X is running hot. Even in just standby mode, PS5 is running cool even after 80 minutes of non-stop gaming. So, what does that mean in the end? Who the fuck knows? I'm just relaying to you this information and my thoughts about that information. But again, we won't really know till we have these consoles in the hands of the people with actual release hardware. And man, I cannot fucking wait till we get these consoles. I'm still trying to get my hands on a Series X pre-order, but that shit seems to be very difficult. I do have my PS5 pre-order guarantee, thanks to, again, my subscriber and patron Here For You Gaming, who was nice enough to give me his invite. So I will be getting a PS5 day one. But man, I can't wait. We got fucking a month. 1 month. And this is going to be the longest month in a long time waiting for this hardware, because I'm very excited for the next generation. But now I'm rambling. So with all that said, that's all I got for you guys on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next Supernova.